Hello, class. It's Miss Anderson. And as part of our 3 lessons on the structure of a story, today we will be focusing on the beginning. And the beginning is usually characterized by the exposition. As seen as on this story map, the red circle shows the setting and a character. That's usually at the beginning, but not all at the beginning is. So as we move along, the beginning is usually called the exposition. The exposition is the part of a book that sets the stage for the drama to follow. It introduces the theme, setting, characters, and circumstances at the story's beginning. To identify the exposition, you would usually find it within the first few chapters of a novel or the first few pages or paragraphs of a shorter story. And the exposition is where the author gives a description of the setting and the mood before the action takes place. An example that I have here is an excerpt from the short story The Three Little Bears. And it reads, "Once upon a time, there were 3 little bears, a mama bear, a papa bear, and a baby bear. They lived deep in the forest, far away from any people. One morning, Mama Bear decided to treat her family to a hot serving of porridge." From that excerpt, you can see from the color coordination that I did, you see the characters, which are the 3 little bears, and that's Mama, Papa, and Baby. And then in green, you will see the setting. So the story takes place in the forest, away from people. And then the last sentence that's in red is the setup of how the story is going to progress. The next thing is the theme. The theme is characterized by life lessons, meaning and moral message about life or human nature that is communicated through a literary work. Now you must remember, a theme is not a word. It is usually a sentence or two. And for the most part, a theme can be started at the beginning, but you will not know the true theme of the story until the end of a work. And when you're reading, you do not have to agree with the theme. You just need to identify it. And in stories, themes are not explicit. They are implied, which means the story will not say at the end, the theme of the story is ... They're implied, which means you have to completely read the story and understand what the story is about to analyze what the theme is. And one last thing is themes are bigger than the story. So while you read the storyline and things like that, the theme is the takeaway from the story as a whole. Next is setting. The setting is where a story takes place and helps initiate the backdrop and mood for the story. Settings can be descriptive or ambiguous. Now, what that means is an author can describe their setting in depth, or it can be ambiguous, which basically means they leave the setting up to you. So they usually have a little bit on the setting, and then your brain is supposed to take it away from there. Settings can be realistic, such as someplace in history or in the present, or settings can be fantasy in a make-believe world that does not exist. And an author usually establishes a setting at the beginning of a story. Next is characters. Characters are important, and they have to be identified at the beginning of a story. So characters make up the story. Characters' qualities are what the characters are like and what is unique about them. And that is usually described as characterization. Now, in a story, characters are usually described as a protagonist and an antagonist. The protagonist is a leading character or one of the major characters in a drama, which is also referred to as the good guy. The antagonist is the character who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something, an adversary. And that's usually the bad guy. Also, in a story, the characters are either dynamic or static. And dynamic character usually changes throughout the novel or the reading that you're doing. And a static character has little to no change. That is the end to the PowerPoint for today's lesson. After you have viewed the video, you will go to the class blog site and you will answer the question, what is your favorite book? After you answer that question, you will use the information that you learned in this PowerPoint. For example, you will fill out the characters of the novel, the setting, the theme, and then you will post that onto the blog site to let me know that you've seen the video. See you tomorrow.